you see the numbers before me. Here we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Connecting Faith and Business Summit 2022 Speaker Series. And I'm so excited that today I don't just have one speaker. I don't have two speakers. I have three speakers who are going to be in the event, which is next Thursday, October 13th. Everybody say hi.
Hi.
Hey everybody.
Cris, you are multitasking. We can tell. He is a busy guy. There, you are saving lives every day with your loans. I love it. So I want you guys to tell me a little bit. In fact, Ruth, I'm going to have you start. Now, a little background. Ruth is the mother of these two handsome boys, and she owns a mortgage firm. And one of her boys works with her full time. The other one is actually a vendor of hers, does all her accounting. So I want you to introduce yourself, Ruth, and just for because everybody want to hear your voices, say your name and what you do at your company and why you do what you do, and then we'll go next to Cris and then to Luis.
Hi, I'm Ruth Pacheco, and I am a mortgage loan officer for the past 36 years. My husband and I started in the business together, and we are proud that our oldest one, Chris, had followed up the steps to become a loan officer himself. And I'm excited to be here this morning and participate in this conference. Yes.
Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome. Okay, Cris, it's your turn. What do you do for the company, and how long have you been working with your mom?
I recently became a loan officer actually during the pandemic.
Oh,
I was a digital marketing guy, and I still have a digital marketing business. That's how I got into this business and started helping my mom with her marketing. Then got licensed, and then started at another bank where my mom usually was previously at, and then teamed up with her last November. But yeah, we work for a company called Easy Fundings that's out of Rancho Cucamonga,
cool.
and I personally have a specialty in veterans with VA loans and self-employed borrowers. And Ruth, I'm sure she'll expand. She has a hyper concentration on seniors and the reverse mortgage market.
Oh,
Correct.
fantastic. Okay, but tell me why you joined your mom in this business. Like, obviously, it was had to do something because this conference also has to do with. Last year we talked about pivoting, right, during COVID, and now we're on the other side of it, and it's having your faith consistent through before COVID till after COVID, right, and the new normal. So tell me a little bit about why you decided to join your mom in the business.
I always felt like I was gonna eventually do it. It was the time coming. I think right when I joined, the other bank had like the infrastructure for training and stuff. But not to get super technical, but a lot to do with like banking structures, and how we serve our clients as far as getting them like the best rates. That had a big piece to do with it, and I saw that my mom had the right structure, and I just felt it in my heart when I saw the opportunity. It was like God was putting adversity in my life to basically make an opportunity, and I've been enjoying it ever since.
That's awesome. So Luis, tell me a little bit about, like, obviously your mom is a powerhouse, so you were inspired probably to follow in her footsteps, but you chose a little bit of a different path. So tell me why you are in your world and your industry, and how you help your family business.
Yeah, as you said, my mom's kind of a powerhouse, and my dad was as well. We always grew up in like kind of an entrepreneurial mindset family household. I went a little bit different route. I actually became a CPA and started my own firm, doing taxes, accounting, and business consulting. And while still growing up in real estate, that actually also led me to become like a real estate taxes expert. So it kind of works hand in hand. While I don't do the same thing that they do, I kind of specialize in like the backbone and like the behind the scenes works on what they do.
I love
Um, you
that.
know,
Well, people couldn't obviously you can't have a successful business if you don't keep your numbers, right? You
exactly,
have to like
exactly.
balance. So I actually think it's such a beautiful union that you can and refer each other business. So I want to know, and you guys can take turns whenever you want, to why Hilda invited you, Ruth, to be a speaker on the panel. And tell me, we're gonna kind of jump ahead because I'm so interested in this. of why she invited you, and a little bit about, to tease our audience, why they should attend the event to hear more about what you're going to teach.
Well, yeah, I'm real honored to have been invited by Hilda to be part of the conference. I think the reason we were invited is because a good friend of ours, Lynn, has experienced what we have gone through. Back in 2009, we lost they lost their father, my husband, of 27 years.
Wow.
So I found myself with two young men, and it was his dream for them to work with him at one point. And right now, I feel so blessed that I was the chosen, and I literally learning from them at this point. I'm letting them take the lead in many aspects, and if I didn't do that, I thought I would become a dinosaur. So, I'm following their technology, their expertise. They're pretty bright kids. I'm very proud of who they have become on their own. And I have specialized in serving the consumer for so many years.
Wow.
And I'm not a large number of transactions type of person, but I do believe in quality and treating each consumer like my own family in a way, where they feel like they're the only one that matter at that particular transaction. Chris, on the other hand, is more like a powerhouse when it comes to originating loans. He has the energy, the enthusiasm, and hasn't been around or dealing with the frustration and the demands that the industry requires from us. So he's a fresh, I call him a fresh cucumber.
Yeah. He's not burnt out yet, right? He's still in the go.
He's excited. He's making things work, and I think we were invited because of the adversity that we went through in 2009.
Yes,
and
I was actually going to just ask you that. Like, tell me a little bit about that adversity, because I think that is one reason that, in fact, someone just asked, how do you get tickets to the event? So if you text the word faith to the number 71441, not only will you get a link to register, and again, this is 8 days away, 8 days away, you'll receive to register, but also you'll be automatically entered into a contest to win up to $500. So please text the word faith to the number 71441, and then you'll do that. So again, so the whole amazing thing about this conference, by the way, you guys have you been to this conference before, all of you?
I have not.
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I have to tell you, because I've been for numerous years, been a sponsor, all this good stuff. The Holy Spirit literally shows up. Like, it's crazy. Like, you feel it. There's like an energy in the room. So many people, again, this is not just based on the Christian faith. We welcome all faiths. So in case you're watching this and you're thinking, well, I'm not a Christian, it's all about honoring your God, right? Honoring the Lord in all you do, not just your personal life, but in your business life. So I want to hear about, from all three of you, how your business has prospered because you have honored the Lord. And that's kind of where the stories go at this conference. You hear from people who have been seasoned, been in the business forever, and you kind of learn from their trials and their tribulations, as well as their triumphs, and how they have used the Lord mightily in their business, and again, has prospered. So again, I'm so sorry, I'm rambling. So Ruth, tell me a little bit about the adversity that you faced, because I think that is huge.
Well, it was a challenge being the happy mom and two young kids that they were still in high school, in a private school. So all of a sudden, I found myself being a one income type of person. And I surrendered myself to the Lord. I say, please take over. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a man. I don't know how to raise men. But my husband did an awesome job with the boys at a very early age. So he passed away overnight, massive heart attack.
Oh my God.
And it was hard. It was hard, but the Lord sustained us. And that's where my faith grew the most. They both graduated from the same high school they were attending at the time. They both the Lord provided for their college education, and they can each tell you a little bit of the background. But I think this is another proof how the Lord and our faith work in our life when we just surrender ourselves to His command, to let
Yes.
Him take charge of our life, pretty much.
I love it. I love it. Luis, tell me a little bit about your why of your business and how you serve the Lord in your business.
Growing up in school and going to college and everything, there seems to be a lack of financial education. How many people know how to balance checkbook? How many people know what a W-2 really is? Um, the struggles that we faced in that time when I was 16, my brother was 17, it kind of taught me that there was a huge need for this kind of education, this kind of like guidance, which we didn't have at the time. And I feel like for a while I was struggling to find, well, what are my gifts, right? We always talk about these spiritual gifts that God gives us. And I've kind of been learning more and more as clients been coming in that my gift is in education. I learned these things because that a lot of people don't know, and it feels to me like I'm giving back and letting them kind of see the thing that God is doing in my life by educating them and just kind of explaining it to them. Even the way that I name my company Layman's Tax and Accounting, it's taking complicated tax matters and putting them into layman's terms. So I
Oh, wow.
find
I
it,
was going to ask you about that.
yeah,
That's really cool how that comes together. So
yeah.
you're really who you love serving is people in small businesses or a specific niche?
Right now, I love serving small business owners just because I'm kind of in the same shoes that they are, right?
Yeah.
I'm the small business, they're the small business. We're all just trying to make it and grow something bigger. I'll definitely help the individuals as well, but right now my main focus is that small business owner and like, primarily in the real estate realm.
Okay. Very cool. And what about you, Chris? I know you're muting yourself because you're in a
Yeah.
public place. You're doing
Um,
a great job, by the way. Looks great.
so what? The question was how does faith run in my business, correct?
Yeah, and kind of why you joined in and who do you love serving and how you use faith in your business? Yes.
So actually, faith is actually our first core value of our business: faith, family, and freedom.
Love
You know,
that.
me personally, how things catapulted. I mean, my dad's passing was very very traumatic back then. I think we all kind of handled it differently. I kind of went the reckless route, college dropout, substance abuser, um, and my mom, in her right fashion, had every right to kick me out of the house, which was the best blessing
Good
that I
for
could
you,
have
Mom.
had.
That must have been a hard decision.
So,
Wow.
The hardest thing I ever done.
I
so
bet.
that was like during the downturn of the credit crisis going on in the United States. So a lot of people had a huge lifestyle change, and I being out on my own, and I never had to do laundry at a public coin laundry place or anything like that.
It's humbling, isn't it?
Oh yeah, no,
Yes.
absolutely. So, but with all that being said, like financial insecurity was a huge problem with me, and just didn't realize, like, I was running away from 8 different payday loan places and just being reckless, maxed out credit cards, everything. I ended up
Wow.
joining the Marine Corps when I was 21, and my first year in the Marine Corps, I was literally just paying back debts. So finances has always been a big play, and I always was wondering like how spirituality would come into the marketplace, and there's actually something about 3 years ago or 5 years ago I started. I was a born again. I read Pastor Rick Warren's Purpose Driven Life book, and got very involved with Saddleback Church in Orange County. And he actually speaks very heavily on business, marketplace, and spirituality. And my wife and I have been active tithers since over 3 years, and I feel like I've grown in my faith that, like, my psychology behind money and consumerism and culture has definitely changed in the last 3 years, and it's actually the best investment I ever made. and it's the thing that no financial advisor in America is saying as the best investment, to get back to your soul and into the kingdom. So that momentum has just catapulted us to where we're at now. The real estate market is actually in a big downturn right now as well, and I feel like with and talks about it in Malachi in the Bible. You're able to protect your crops, by putting your money first, your God first, and in a world that runs so deeply with our money, and like people are controlled by it, they steal it, they marry into it, they commit crimes to get it. It can be extremely consuming for your life and
Right.
distracting. So when we're talking, especially with veterans who, the veteran community, I'm not going to get too deep into that, having its own issues. We're able to relate that on faith. We're able to introduce faith to veterans who are struggling, and
Wow.
we're able to kind of, it's an easy transition to when you're talking about faith to when you're talking about finances. And um, I've been blessed to even be able to work closely with my brother now, where I'm he's helping them with their taxes and everything, and with veterans. And so I don't know, I just have seen that it's been a staple in our business, and I think it's almost like just created the law of attraction to have people return to us. So
I love that. Well, you're very relatable to people, especially the veterans who, sadly, because of all the things they've been through, fall into the trap of being addicted to things to forget, right? And so they don't have as many resources as that we all hope for them to have. So the fact that you've gone through that and you're a brother in the military, I mean, what a blessing to them that you're able to come at them. And also with you as well, Luis, with, layman, like, that's like so perfect. You're coming to people where they're at. And I think that's something that's so important today, no matter what your business is, that you meet your customers where they are, right? It's not about us as business owners, it's about them. So we're to speak to them, relate to them, listen to them, solve their problems, right? And so I think that's the beautiful part about this conference. And if you're just tuning in, thank you all for piping in the comments. Lynn actually just joined us. She is the event planner of the event. And she's obviously sharing that she's delighted that you guys can come. And what's OCHS?
we actually played football with her son, Rob Coachman.
No
He's the
way.
coach.
Oh, that's awesome. Very, very cool. Very cool. And Jeanette it's such a small world. That's crazy. And Jeanette is totally right. Like, these are the kind of testimonies that you hear at this summit, that makes you realize, like, wow, I'm not alone. I've gone through these struggles and I want to overcome them. Maybe you're in a place where you haven't overcome them yet and you're looking for that lifeline, right? Or maybe you have gone through them and you have the blessing of being able to help somebody else up with your lifeline, And so I think that's the beautiful thing about this conference. So again, if you haven't seen below, we want to make sure that you are going to be, because we're only going to be on for another, 8 minutes. You have to come to the Connecting Faith and Business Summit, because that's what we're talking about, connecting your faith to your business, right? And how glorifying the Lord will obviously help your business on many levels. So I did have another question for you guys that I'm just like taking all these notes and everything. We talked about why you got in business and who you serve and who you love to serve. We talked about what is your vision to honor God in your company and career. I don't think we dove into this deep enough. So Luis, will you tell me a little bit about how you do this? Because obviously people who are watching are looking for role models and how they can, and even if they're new in business or young, they can start a good foundation and build from there.
Right. And just kind of how you mentioned, it's the foundation where everything starts. You can't build a house on sand.
Right.
So where I like to share with my clients and share with anyone who really likes to listen, and sometimes I nerd out a little too much on it, but like the numbers don't lie, right? Yeah. If you don't have the numbers organized, if you don't have everything structured, things are bound to crumble. Like with few of my clients, I tell them there's nothing wrong with getting audited by the IRS. It's when things aren't right, that's when you get a little scared and a little sketchy. right? Before that's
So it's
just all
gonna be okay.
paperwork.
It's gonna be okay.
It's gonna be perfectly fine, you know. But one of the things I like to say too, like I guess like how I honor God in my business is by just kind of living it and doing it humbly, right? I have things that I know, I have things that I don't know, I have things that I can teach, and I have things that I can learn from the clients as well. You
I
know,
love that.
I'm here to serve them. They're not here to serve me. I always believe that if you can do that correctly, the money will follow, and that shouldn't be the main driver.
Amen. Oh my gosh. Well, the Lord came to serve, right? Not to be served. So,
Exactly.
we're all called to be Jesus with skin on, which my kids think is the weirdest expression. I'm always like, Jesus with skin on. They're like, like we are the face of Jesus, right? We're shy. We're supposed to see people through his eyes. So, speaking of being a mom, um, Ruth, what is some of your wisdom that you give to your boys? Like when you raise them, like what were some of the terms that you use? And you'll probably get them to laugh. Like,
Well,
make good
after
choices.
I would say, what will Jesus do? That was
Nice.
my thing. It's like whenever they question if something was okay, I say, let's think. What will Jesus think? What will Jesus do? How will he behave? And actually, on the first Father Day that we were celebrating without their father, we all got baptized Christians again. And
Oh,
I told them, I'm going to get you a father that will never forsake us or leave us. He will always be there for us. And he have kept his promise. And, they all willingly went and we all baptized in the name of Jesus on a Father's Day 2010. And I cannot say enough how our life has changed in how we have trusted him and in how he have kept his promise to us. And right now, as far as my business is concerned, I have chosen to specialize on the reverse mortgage, basically to help the senior citizen to improve the quality of their life. Not everybody have planned accordingly for the retirement years. Some of them may have um, give away, their money to children, or they're money poor, but they're sitting in a home that is rich in equity. So
right.
now the timing is perfect to help them out. And I basically do that type of transactions on a need base. If I don't see a a quality improvement in their life, I would not even touch the loan. My motto on that type of product, I say, if this is a product that I would not give to my mom and dad, I would not offer it to anybody else.
I love
So that
that. I love that. Oh, we lost her. She ended on a high note. She just dropped her mic. I love that. She'll be back in a second. There you are.
yes,
That
I'm
was
so
like a
sorry.
drop the mic comment. You're like, that's it.
Yeah,
Bam.
no. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. But the technology is crazy. Yes, Lynn just said this testimony gives me chills. It's so true. And again, just to wrap it back to the event, this is the kind of stuff, if you're watching this, these kind of testimonies is what this event is all about. You hear one after another. Every year I go, I learn something new. And I always encourage people, don't just bring yourself. Not only either bring a friend or bring your entire team, like your executive team. Can you imagine all of you getting the same, being filled up with all the same information at the same time? I mean, you'll be on fire after the event. You can go out for dinner and like plan out your whole strategy for the new year, right? We're coming up on 2023, which blows my mind that we're almost at the end of 2022. Wow. So again, if you need to be there, and Ruth, you're going to be a part of a panel that is just going to bless so many people with showing how you overcame your adversity and honor the Lord in everything you did, bringing your boys. And by the way, I meant to say this when you're talking about your wonderful husband. Obviously, these guys are his legacy, right? I mean, no pressure,
Yes.
Luis and Cris, but
Yes.
it's all on you. You're your father's legacy, and you're making him so proud by honoring the Lord, honoring your core beliefs of how you're going to serve people, coming from a servant's heart first. I'm just so impressed. I just absolutely love that. But Ruth, one thing you didn't answer, and again, we have like 3 minutes. How did you and your husband get in this business? You said 26 years ago?
It was him. Actually 36 years ago.
Oh,
It
wow.
was my husband that started in the business. We were business owner in a totally different industry, but we were dealing with financing at
Oh,
that time. You know, we had a satellite antennas, the one that you could get all the channels,
yeah.
and they got to be so expensive at one point that we start financing them. And that's how we got into the financing business until they put a block to the signal directly to satellite. So that put us out of business. And we moved to from
Talk about
Florida to
pivoting.
California. And it was my husband's, his vision. And he figured, I'm not going to have a business again where I'm required to have inventory. So here we have a lot of paperwork. Now we don't even have paperwork because everything is online, everything is paperless. So literally we can work from the beach as long as I have a phone and a pen and a pad. We can work from anywhere. And,
That's
and that's the
awesome.
exciting
So
thing
it's
about
his
it.
vision come to life, right?
Correct.
Like it's
Correct.
his legacy is now,
Yes.
coming true. I
And,
think that
and
is,
I just happened to be at his place of work. My car had broke down, and he was so busy. He said, I cannot take you home, but hang on with me." And the whole day went by, and no one was helping him. And I started answering his phone lines, and I didn't know what he was talking about. I just picked every single line that was flashing. And at the end of the day, he said, "Didn't that work beautifully? How would you like to work with me?" And that's
I hope you
history. The
asked
rest.
for a big paycheck. I hope you said,
Yes.
"I
Well,
don't know,
he
I'm worth a
literally,
lot."
let me tell you the beauty of it, that literally the next paycheck that he got, he will turn it over, sign it, and give it to me. He say, "There is your first paycheck." So it was a pretty decent one. And I went like, wow. And I haven't left the industry ever since. Yes.
Yeah, baby.
Yes.
That is
But
awesome. What a wonderful
mostly,
man.
I conduct my business thinking of the who am I able to help? Whose life am I changing one at a time? That's my motto, and it gives me a lot of satisfaction. And that's why I haven't left the industry. I love it. I love what I do for a living and the service that we provide.
Oh, that is so heartwarming. I love it. Oh my goodness. I hate to even wrap up, but I get a hug all three of you, right? In person in 8
Yes.
days, right? That's kind of exciting. Yeah. So Jeanette says, "I'm definitely bringing my team." I love it. Ruth, she says, "Ruth is a beautiful friend. Ruth is real." That's right. And that's what we're going to bring to this summit is people are bringing the real story. You're not going to get a bunch of fluff. You're going to find out really what happened and the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? People are bare their souls, right? When they know. And there's prayer requests. There's going to be employer matchmaking session. There's going to be live takeaways with all different kinds of things. You can actually walk away from this event with actionable things to do in your business that's going to move the needle, into the positive. So that is so exciting. I'm just absolutely thrilled. Thank you guys so much for Jeanette is excited too.
Yes. Yes.
Thanks
We
everybody
actually
who's been
invited a
commenting.
lot of people from our industry to join us as well.
That's awesome. I love that. Thank you so much. So if you are watching this live, please share it. If you know that it's going to help people, share it on your personal feed and say, "Hey, join me at this event." And then hopefully they'll text the word faith to the number 71441. If I can reinforce that one more time, go ahead and do that. And then you'll be not only get a link to buy a ticket and hopefully tickets for all of your team, but also you'll be instantly entered to win the $500. And so tell your friends, unless you don't want your friends to win $500, and don't tell them that. I think we're all godly people and we want our friends to win. So again, tell your friends to do that. Awesome. All right. So yes, thank you so much for being on the show today, guys. Luis and Cris, I'm just so proud of you. And I know your mom is just beaming with pride that you're honoring your father and everything you're doing, and you're blessing your mom with helping her. And again, Ruth, it's such an honor to meet you. So everybody, thank you again. Please put in the comments below how much you appreciate them. And again, I can't wait to hear more about that story when we get to
The honor has been ours. Thank you so much for
We're so
allowing us to share our story.
You're welcome. Now, hang on. Don't log off yet because I'm going to get a little group picture of just the three of you. Okay. But we're
Okay.
going to log off on the interwebs on Awesome. And Lynn says, we'll see you at the summit, Pacheco Team. All right, hang on. All right, everybody, we'll see you next week. We have Ray Bloom, who's from Cityway, who is going to be running the employer-employee matchmaking session at the summit. That's going to be next Wednesday at 12:30. So tune in for that. You might get a few little tips to give you an edge when you go to that during the summit. And until next week, thank you so much. God bless you. Tell your friends to come to the event, and we'll see you then. All right, hang on.